Welcome everyone to our specially created deep analysis presentation on fictional conflicts, where we thrive to entertain you.
Presented to you by Zach and Urgent. In today's presentation, we will be focusing on one of the masterpieces created by Stephen King, the famous novella, The Shining.
Although I'm quite positive most of you are already aware of whom Stephen King is, I'll reluctantly fill your head with information you won't find any use to. Stephen King is an American writer who wrote over 200 stories, but only a few dozen or so are widely known, some of which includes The Dead Zone, The Green Mile, Salem Slot, It, Tom Knockers, Carrie, and of course, The Shining. Many of his novellas have been adapted as movies and television shows, including the novel we'll analyze.
The Shining is set in 1980 America and follows the perspective of Jack Torrance's family. The Torrance family, Jack, his son, Danny, and his wife Wendy, takes the job as the caretakers of the Overlook Hotel over the winter, as it is located in the mountains and will be heavily snowed upon. However, the family goes through the perils of the hotel as it comes to life and disarrays the family's happiness. Jack becomes possessed by spirits of the Overlook Hotel and attempts to kill his family. Much like the previous year's caretaker, to kill his family and eventually commit suicide. We won't spoil the ending as we are encouraging you to read this book. Now we will introduce the main characters of the plot.
Jack Torrance is the father in the Torrance family. Although he's a loving father, he's a recovering alcoholic who lost his job after assaulting one of his students, who was caught slashing his car's tires. He's driven crazy by the hotel's revenants, eventually attempting to kill his own family.
Wendy Torrance is the mother of the Torrance family. She aids Jack in recovering and suffers from verbal abuse, but remains with him after even Jack loses his temper and breaks Danny's arm. She fights for her and her son's life when Jack becomes possessed.
Danny Torrance is the only son of Jack and Wendy. Although he's only 5, he carries the power called the ShIinIng, a power which enables the user to read others' minds. Tony is at first Danny's imaginary playmate, but is later revealed that he is Danny from the future.
Dick Halloran is the chef of the Overlook Hotel. He has a friendly personality and also has the ShIinIng. He's the one who tells Danny about his powers. During the time the Torrances stay at the Overlook Hotel, he comes to their aid when Danny sends a strong psychic distress signal to Halloran, who is in Florida. He helps Danny and Wendy escape at the end of the novel. The main focus of this presentation is to show what could have caused Jack's insanity apart from the original plot, where he is possessed by the spirits of the Overlook Hotel. There is evidence which proves that he has a serious IED, abbreviation for Intermittent Explosive Disorder. An IED is a behavioral disorder characterized by extreme expressions of anger. According to a Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, a document consisting of mental illnesses, in order to be diagnosed to have an IED, one must have:
Firstly, several episodes of impulsive behavior that result in serious damage to either people or property. This is easily proved several times in the novel, such as when he breaks his son's arm due to losing a temper, or beating up one of his students. Secondly, the aggressiveness is grossly disproportionate to the circumstances or provocation. In other words, big reactions to small events. Again, looking at the part where Jack broke his son's arm merely because he was playing with Jack's script clearly proves this. However, the third part is where things get complicated. If you diagnose as IED, the behavior cannot be better accounted by another mental or physical medical condition. There's actually a better explanation for his erratic behavior, because when you come down to it, Jack is more than simply an explosive rage addict. When he arrives at the Overlook Hotel, we see over and over evidence that he experienced intense mental distortion. What we are talking about are his highly vivid hallucinations of moving inanimate objects, spirits of the past guests of the hotel and the party. Jack reacts to these creations with such vehemence that he seems to be suffering from paranoid schizophrenia. This is a mental illness defined by extreme delusions and hallucinations. It's a pretty extreme claim, so in order to fully diagnose him, we need to look closer. A common symptom among paranoid schizophrenia is that you've been singled out for harm, and we see this time and time again. He was actively chased down by the hallucinations of inanimate objects. In addition to that, the delusions can result in aggression or violence. This is evidently seen as he tries to kill his family using a mallet, as well as Dick Halloran, who tries to help Danny and Wendy. So Jack is clearly delusional, but there is more.
Paranoid schizophrenia also comes with a bundle pack of auditory hallucinations. The person suffering from the illness hears unpleasant voices that are cruel, making ongoing criticism of what they're thinking or doing. Throughout the novel, no better example is when the spirits tell him to kill his family immediately, and it was stupid of him to let them live. Other symptoms caused by paranoid schizophrenia include extreme anger and bursts of intense violence, and we already know that Jack has those. In short, looking at several extracts from the novel, the diagnosis is clear. What would
created using Powtoon.